Hello everyone, this is Kim Quady with KimPlaysWithPaper.com. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Mesa, Arizona, and I come live or have a video for you every Tuesday just to kind of show you what I've been working on in my craft room. And so today I'm going to show you a bundle from Stampin' Up's January through April 2023 mini catalog. It may not have appealed to you at the start, but I assure you by the end of this video you will you'll be wanting to get this bundle because it's a sympathy set. It's the Ginkgo branch bundle from the catalog. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Deb. And sympathy cards, unfortunately, we don't like to make them, but I can assure you, hello Shirley, thanks for joining me. I can assure you that the people who receive handmade sympathy cards really appreciate the heartfelt thought that goes into them. So I want to show you one of the cards I've made, a sympathy card, and then I've also, later in the video, I have a bunch of other samples, and then I want to show you how I've changed it into something that you can use all the time. Good morning, everyone who's been popping on. Everyone's popping on so fast, I can't keep track of, so I will be sure to follow you in the comments, but I appreciate everybody being here and watching me this morning. So let me just pop down to the workspace so we can show you what is going on my desk. It's a good thing you can't see it. There's like several projects all going on at one time. But if you haven't seen it, the Ginkgo branch bundle is on page 57 of Stampin' Up's January through April 2023 mini catalog. And lots of samples in there and in the back. And one of the cards I did is I cased it from the catalog. But here's the stamp set with the great big flower image. I love big images because the images just take care of the job and do most of the work for you. And the sentiments, sending hope and peace, thinking of you with sympathy and friend. They're just, and I just love the cursive that's going on in there. Then the coordinating dies. This die will cut out that flower. You have this really pretty banner that cuts that one here, and that, and that. So we've got that going. And then there's this really, really pretty detailed die right here. And I will, if you stick with me, I'll show you some card samples at the end that use that. And then I have yet to use this little guy, but I'm planning on it. So let me show you the card that I want to create, the sympathy card. I have several options in several different colors. I couldn't decide which colors to use, so I did several, but this is the one I settled on first. So it uses smoky slate and night of navy with a little bit of that simply elegant trim. The one thing I do want to call your attention to is, if you can see, this embossing folder is one of the new online exclusives. So Stampin' Up! Introduced last week. Hey Chris, thanks for joining, and Diane as well. There are 3 different embossing folders. They're called the Basics 3D embossing folders, and they all come together in a set for $30. They're available only online. So we have a dot pattern. Hi, Jeanne. So that's a really nice dot pattern on that one. Kind of stars, flowers, you can see on that one. And then the one I'm using is this little, I think it's like a crosshatch, and it's very subtle. So those can be found online at the online store. Let me bring in the ingredients I'm using for this card. So it's a smoky slate base that is 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Then I will add a night of navy that's 5 1/4 by 4. And then the other smoky slate is 5 by 3 3/4, and I've run that through one of those basics 3D embossing folders. I will have a white piece for the middle. And then what I've done, and I found if I wanted to make a bunch of these cards, and I prepared for a class. So what I did was I went with my die cut and just cut out a whole bunch of the image for the flower. And then I set it up on my Stamparatus so I could do all the stamping at one time. So let me bring in my Stamparatus. You can see I have the flower image and the Sympathy all set up there. I do like to have a stamp set underneath to kind of give me some leverage, something to stamp on. And I've also die cut the image and the sentiment, so I can just slip my piece in here and slip my sentiment piece in there. Make sure, let me show you that you can see the little embossed edges on that. So that's gorgeous. We'll bring in my Night of Navy ink. And so in this way, you can cut all those ahead. You don't have to worry about lining them up on your Stamparatus. Just cut your paper about 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then die cut a bunch, and then you'll be able to just sit down with your Stamparatus and knock these out, and you can have a whole bunch ready for your card. So then I'll close that up. I have one magnet on there, just kind of holding that down. And then if I need to, or feel like I need a little bit more ink, I can add a little more, and I probably will, just to make it a little darker. That's the nice thing about the Stamparatus, it's that you can stamp again and make it as dark as you need it to be. All right, so I'm going to grab take your pick tool. I'm just going to pull that out. That is all ready to go. Now I actually have this another card to show you that I've cut out the white already. So I'm just going to get this cleaned off a little bit and dried for the next card that I'll show you when we're about halfway through. I'll get this one put together, and then let me just slide it off here. Thank you, Deb. And once I get going, I can't wait to show you the other colors. You can tell me which color you like best. So then I just bring in the rest of my items and basically put the card together. So, hey, Nikki, thanks for joining. So bear with me as I put the layers on. Marilyn, hi. So this is the Smoky Slate 5 by 3 3/4, layered on the Night of Navy. That is 5 1/4 by 4. Layered on a Smoky Slate base. That's 8 1/2 by 4 1/2, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, excuse me. So that's how we're all ready. Now we just need to bring in our image, and here is the Ginkgo branch image, and I have glue dots. I'm just gonna, you could pop this up if you wanted to. I need to poke out a couple of little pieces. You could, like I say, pop this up with dimensionals if you wanted to, but we are going to pop up the sentiment. So I'm going to just place some glue dots on the back of the Ginkgo branch, big image. I love big images because then I don't have, and this one just speaks for itself. It's just gorgeous. And like I say, we like to get a lot out of our stamp sets, so I will show you some cards that aren't necessarily sympathy, but this does make just a gorgeous, gorgeous sympathy card. Also, what I've done is I have some of that gold Simply Elegant trim that I want to just add a little bit. If you can see that card, it just adds a little bit on there. To arrange that, I'm going to put just a couple of glue dots on my card, kind of right next to each other. And then I'm going to lay the Simply Elegant trim down here. I'm going to make a big loop. I can say a big loop, and then I'll find that other glue dot and just hook that. There are several ways to do this. You could tie a bow, like a bunny ear bow, and put it on. You could wad it up with your fingers, but this way happened to work for me. So I'll just turn the sentiment over and put some glue dots on it. And this trim will settle down once I get my, and make sure your sympathy is right side up. And so I'll put that on there. Can fashion that. And give it just a little trim. And then, of course, I have some jewels. I thought, okay, I need a sharper scissor. I love my champagne rhinestone jewels for that, so I am going to add a few of those on it. And I'll take 3, just grab them off here with the pick tool. And also, just real quick for the inside of the card, I did have that white insert, but we can bring in our little flower and add that, add that to the inside. Got the dropsies today. I'm going to use my grid paper to check that out. And then we can just put that in the corner. And you can also then decorate. Oh, Sandy, you just wait. You will want this set. You'll be running to your computer to order this set when I am done showing you the rest of the cards. Trust me. Like I said, we don't really, sympathy cards aren't our favorite to make, but they're a necessary part of life, and people who receive them, I know I've saved mine from when my mom passed away, and I get those out and read the sentiments on them. I know it sounds kind of, but, so I'll put that in the middle. All right. And isn't it nice, though, to have a nice stack of cards that you can use when someone passes away unexpectedly. All right, so you see my Night of Navy. Good morning, Brenda. Thanks for joining. That's my Night of Navy and Smoky Slate. So I also love Night of Navy and Very Vanilla. And again, I use that same Basics 3D embossing folder on that. And then there's one more. I also like soft suede. I thought soft suede would work really well. So here I used the soft suede and Very Vanilla with the Thinking of You sentiment and added my jewels. Again, that I just love the 3D embossing folder, the Basics with that little cross hatch design. All right, now I promised that I would show you a card I created that is not a sympathy, but is made from that same die. So I chose Calypso Coral and used a piece from the variety pack. This is vellum, and then I stamped and cut 2 of those and used a sentiment from the Go-To Greetings and the label from the Fragrant Flowers bundle. And that's what I like about this Ginkgo branch stamp set, is that you can bring in lots and lots of different sentiments and colors from from other sets. So let me show you quick how this card goes together. And even after that, I even have more samples. I kind of went crazy with it. Yes, you do have to. So stay tuned. I made an Easter card, and actually in class next week, we're going to be making an Easter card. So remember I told you I cut out a whole bunch of those die cut, and so I'm just going to slip that in, bring in my Calypso Coral. It's not quite in the little bit. It just fits right in the slot. I'll ink it up. And I need to do 2 of these because I'll show you how I got those both on there. Actually, and this one was cased from the catalog. If you look way back in that January through April 2023 mini catalog, there are samples with all the bundles. And this is I took the idea from there. So I have one. Now I'm going to do the second one. Sounds like somebody's trimming trees or something outside the window today. So I'll just close that up and give it a good... And thanks for everyone who's joining me. I've missed greeting some of you coming in. But I will definitely go back and respond to and look at your comments. You'll be able to find the information on my blog at kimplayswithpaper.com and watch the replay here or on YouTube. All right. So I have those flowers, and I normally, when I make a card, I don't, you'll notice it goes all the way around the edges. I oftentimes, good morning, I am using the Ginkgo branch bundle today. So notoriously I can't get things on straight, so I'm going to use my stamp apparatus to try to get this right straight in the corner. So this is 5.5 by 4 1/4, and you're just my thick basic white base. I'm going to put some glue on it. See if we can get that in the straight. I always get it always gets crooked, so I thought, well, if we tuck it in the corner of the stamp apparatus, get it all tucked in, and the glue gives me a little give, so I just can tuck it right in, and there we go. So, I'm so happy when that happens. All right. So then we actually, the flowers, and there's that vellum. So that vellum is 5 by 3 3/4. And you notice if we just put the flowers on, they're too big. So I brought in my Stampin' trimmer. This may look upside down and backwards. I'm left-handed, but I am going to trim off from the bottom about an inch. Let's see, about an inch from each one, and then we'll see if I got my measurements right. I'll move that up. Can you see that? I've got that little piece right there marked on the inch. And pull that off. And now they should fit a little bit better. And remember to stay tuned. I have even more samples after this. Yes, Deb, I didn't know you were left-handed either. It makes life interesting. Everyone I go to use, like at a class or the big shot, everyone says, oh, whoever used that must have been left-handed. So now that's going to go right on there. So what I'm going to do is just put some glue dots on the back of my flowers. again, so, and then I'm going to put it on the vellum so you won't be able to see where, but I do want, I want the flower up here. Oopsie. So yeah, you don't want to, okay. And then I'm going to make sure that the other one goes over here just a little bit. And it still fits, but let me get the glue dots on there and then I'll show you the rest. Thanks for hanging in there, everyone. And I think about all the different colors of our cardstock, and I know I say this almost every time, but I just love how we can take out our favorite colors. My favorite color is purple, so I should have done like a Highland Heather or a Gorgeous Grape. So now I'm going to just turn it over on the back and put my adhesive on it where the flower is, so you won't be able to see the adhesive in that vellum. I could do glue dots. But that takes a while. So then I will just layer that right here. And if you haven't seen that vellum too, that's really a fun product. If you need the product number for that, let me know. It will also be in my YouTube video. All right, and then I've already heat embossed that happy birthday, like I said, from the Go-To Greetings, and the label is from the Fragrant Flowers bundle. I'll put a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and it covers, so it's really covers up that little, the little cuts I made in the flowers, but they look like big flowers. All right. One last thing. If you notice, I did put some bling. I brought in some of Stampin' Up's basic rhinestone pearls and my Stampin' blend, and I'll just color 3 of those. This is the dark Calypso Coral. Again, we have a ton of different color blends, so you get these pearls, and you can always customize your cards. All right, so I'll just grab and plop those on. Such a scientific term for that is plop those on. There we go. All righty. So that is my one of my non-traditional cards using the Ginkgo branch. Again, it's perfect for sympathy and thinking of you. That's what it's for in the catalog. All right, so then I thought, oh, this has to be heat embossed. So I heat embossed the big Ginkgo branch and on balmy blue, and then I die cut it with a stitched rectangle. So you see, I don't have the entire flower, so I just stitched part of it, and then I used the high from the Easter Bunny stamp set with some of that balmy blue ribbon. And you can see I'm getting my Subtles paper out and trying to use it all up. All right, so but my other idea is to emboss this and then cut it out with a circle and maybe do like a spotlight. So I will try that as well. So, we've just used the flower, the big flower, and the sentiment. If you remember that die cut. This die cut. I thought, wow, wouldn't that be a gorgeous wedding card? So gold is one of my favorites. So I used that Basics 3D embossing folder again. And I die cut this with the gold foil. Added some ribbon, my champagne rhinestone jewels, the congratulations from the Peaceful Moments stamp set. And make a great wedding anniversary card with that as well. All right, so I got kind of crazy with my my foil papers. So here's another one. Hello, Chris. Thanks for joining me. This is the, oh my gosh, it escapes me. Gina, if you're still on, remind me, or Dawn, what's this? It's the fine shimmer paper, and it comes in 3 colors. It comes in soft succulent and fresh freesia and gold. So this is a birthday card. Again, using the that Subtles paper pack. I'm going to be out of that here very soon, but there's a birthday card. All right, so then I had these let's see. Oh, and there's the fresh freesia with mint macaron. Some of these I did use the adhesive sheets on the back. Some of them I just used glue dots. That's not, this is not fresh freesia. I'm sorry, this is the Orchid Oasis. We have a lot of different glimmer papers. But if you have any questions on any of the cards, please give me a shout. I might just start pulling things out and start playing with them. And then we kind of looked up Ginkgo, but I didn't look at the images. Well, that's good information to know. All right, let's see. Now here is another one. This is Tahitian Tide and Petal Pink for a birthday, along with some ribbon. And then I have one last card. I decided to try to make an Easter card out of it. So that uses the sentiment from the Easter Bunny stamp set and the fresh freesia. So those are what I have made so far. I put a thank you card together this morning. Just having a lot of fun trying to find different ways to use this awesome bundle in addition to the sympathy cards that we see out front with that bundle, but that it can be used for a lot of other things as well. So thank you everyone so much for joining me. If you need more information, look for me at kimplayswithpaper.com, and I will see you next week. So have a good Tuesday, rest of the week and weekend. Thank you all so much for watching, commenting, and sharing. I appreciate you all. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.